Internet, Eric here. Rachel's over there.
Hello.
And tonight, we're not doing a movie tag, we're actually going to do my movie thoughts. And tonight, we are going to talk about a gift I got from my buddy Roger, Fifth Element.
Yay!
And this came out in '97, and Bruce Willis is in it, Gary Oldman, Ian Holm, Mila Jovovich, and a really, really effeminate Chris Tucker. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, but this movie's 20 years old, so fucking deal with it. From what I can figure out, plot-wise, there's this big planet meteor type thing coming towards Earth. It looks like an asteroid, so it's basically Armageddon, because Bruce Willis. And the only thing that could defeat this is the fifth element,
Mila.
which is Mila Jovovich, looking like Mila Jovovich always does. Nice, naked, always beating people up. And she's part of this weird ancient alien race. She's turned into human form, and she lands in the back of Bruce Willis's taxi cab. And then he takes her to Ian Holm, who is this priest who knows about the prophecy.
Victor?
Yes,
Cornelius.
Victor. He's Vito Cornelius. And basically, it's them trying to get her to stop the evil. They basically just call it the evil throughout the whole film.
Oh, do they?
I think so.
I was going to say the meteor or whatever.
Yeah, and while they're doing that, Gary Oldman, I don't know his name. You know, his character name.
Right.
But he is trying to get these 4 stones that Ian Holm and Mila need to use to help her destroy the black evil, with Chris Tucker thrown in for a good measure.
For comedy relief.
Yeah. So that's the basic confusing plot. Okay. I really enjoy this film a lot. Bruce Willis is basically his character from Die Hard. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, trying to save the world against an evil terrorist. He does his Die Hard shtick. He is, the action hero, shoots a lot of bad guys, kills a lot of bad guys, has his funny one-liners, gets the girl. So, if you liked him in Die Hard, you're going to like him in this. Mila, like I said, she's there to look pretty, she's there to kick butt, she's there to get naked. And she does all 3. And she does it really well. I really like her in this film. I think this was the first time I saw her actually being an action star. Other than this, I saw her in like Cuffs and
Dazed and Confused.
And I don't even think she said a word in Dazed and Confused.
No, I don't think so either.
And so she did really good. I really like her action scenes, like especially the scene where she's beating up the dog-looking creatures while the Blue Diva is singing an opera song.
Yeah.
It's intercut between her singing an opera song and Mila kicking butt.
It's pretty cool.
I really, really like it. You didn't really like the part where she sped up and the diva started speeding up singing her song?
No.
And started popping and locking? I really like that because it helped up the action a little bit. Let's see. Gary Oldman?
It's pretty well Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman can play anything. He took a couple viewings for me to like him. He is trying to be intimidating, but he's really just kind of a jackass. He's really kind of a dork. I like his performance, but it takes a little bit getting used to. He's not very intimidating as a villain at all.
I definitely liked him more this time than the past times, just because, like you said, he's hard to get used to.
Yeah, he has to grow on you kind of like a fungus. You just kind of deal with him after a while. But it's Gary Oldman. I love him and everything. But this did take a couple viewings. Ian Holm as Vito Cornelius, the priest who knows the prophecy, and he sneaks. Bruce Willis and Mila go to Floston Paradise, which is where they where they have to meet the diva to get the 4 stones. And Ian Holm stows away on the spaceship, and he joins them, and he is the comic relief Well, Chris Tucker is supposed to be the comic relief.
Yeah.
We'll get to him in a second. Ian Holm is the comic relief without being the comic relief. I think he's the funniest character in this movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I love him because he's so deadpan. He's so serious but goofy as hell. I mean, I love the scene where Mila's already passed out. You know, she's crashed through the back of Bruce Willis's taxi cab. And he takes her to Vito Cornelius. He knocks on the door, and Vito opens the door, and Bruce is just standing there holding Mila like she's passed out. And
we need a priest.
Yeah, he's like, we need a priest. He's like, oh, marriages are like 2 doors down or something like that. And he's just so deadpan. And then Bruce lays Mila down on the couch, and he kisses her, like, fucking rapist. Which I never liked that scene. Why are you kissing her when she's passed out?
Yeah.
And she puts a gun to his head, and she starts speaking in this funny ancient language, alien language. And as he's getting kicked out by Ian Holm, Bruce asks, what does octogammet mean?
Yeah.
And then he just looks at Bruce. He's like, not without my permission.
It's like, that's what I thought it meant.
Yeah. So really, really funny.
And
the chemistry. Yeah, her name is Leeloo. And Bruce Willis is Korben Dallas. And the chemistry with everybody in this film is perfect. Everybody works off of everybody.
Really well, yeah.
And then we get to Chris Tucker. What do you think of Chris Tucker before I get into it?
I think Chris Tucker is funny in it. He's not... he's obnoxious. Because he's obnoxious just in general.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily overly obnoxious. He's more comedic, I think. It took me a lot... When he was in, Rush Hour?
He's in Rush Hour in the Friday movies.
I had a harder time getting used to him in that than I did in this.
Really?
Yeah, because I felt like he was...
I thought he was more annoying in this. In Rush Hour, he's just kind of a smart ass. Here, like I said, I don't know if he's supposed to be effeminate, if he's supposed to be bisexual, or what. I mean, he loves women because he has sex with one of the stewardesses. And there's him in the back. He's this radio DJ, and he's the one that held the contest that Bruce Willis won. The government helped him win so he can go get the stones. And he's just a weird effeminate DJ, and he gets caught up in this mess, and then he becomes like Korben Dallas's. That's Bruce Willis's. He becomes his sidekick.
Yeah.
And he's just walking around. He's got lipstick on, and I think he's got fingernail polish, but he's banging women, but he's got these most likely homosexual guys helping him, and they're in love with him, and he lives with it. It's hard to judge his character. And the first time I saw this film, I fucking hated him.
Really?
I hated him so much. I had seen him in Friday, and I thought he was okay. He was annoying as Smokey a little bit, but he was okay. Here, I fucking hated him first time. And then, like Gary Oldman's character, he grew on me, and then I grew to appreciate how funny he is.
Yeah.
When he's with Bruce Willis, when he's just
when he's by himself, he's obnoxious and annoying.
Yes,
but when he's with Bruce,
when he's with Bruce, he's really funny. He does like the motor mouth. He talks really, really fast, really, really high pitched, very squeaky. But him talking real fast and then Bruce talking really slow and serious is funny. It's like an odd couple, and it really works. I love when they have all the 4 stones. And they have to, I'm not going to spoil how they fix it, save the day, but they have the 4 stones, and they put them in their little pillars, and then Ian Holm gets his to work, and then Ian Holm's got like a little understudy, so when he's teaching. An apprentice. He gets his to work. And then, Chris Tucker's looking around, and he plays Ruby Rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's looking around, and he looks at his stone. He's like, why do I have the broken one? It doesn't work.
Why mine gotta be broken?
Yeah, why do mine gotta be the broken one? All these people got the ones that work, and mine's broken. It grows on you, and it turns funny, but he might take a second viewing.
Yeah.
But I grew to really like his character. The characters are great. The action is fantastic. My favorite scene in this film is after Mila is turned into her human form, because the movie starts out and it's in 1400s, 1500s, something like that, in ancient Egypt, And Luke Perry's in it for like 5 minutes. And he's working with some archaeologist.
Yeah.
And some weird...
Donut man.
Well, you call him a donut man. I called him like the golden penguin. Because they look like fucking penguins that are made of gold.
Right.
And they come to another priest. There's like fucking priests everywhere in this film. And they talk about how, evil's coming, blah, 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 the whole story. Luke Perry thinks they're there to kill him, so he shoots at them. Long story short, Mila is part of that alien group. And eventually, in present day, Mila is part of that alien group, and that's what she looks like. She's turned into her human form. You gotta watch this fucking movie.
They have her like in an incubator or something.
Yeah, she gets blown up by the fucking space dog people, that are working for Gary Oldman. I think they kind of look like, walking dogs from, like, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
She gets blown up, and then she's taking... Her hand is, like, that's all that's left of her, is taking to this scientist who is obsessed with her DNA. He's really creepy, but he's fucking funny. And the president, who's played by Tiny Lister from Friday, Debo of all people, so I can't take the president seriously. But she's changed from the golden penguin into, hot Mila. And she escapes, and then she lands in the back of Bruce Willis's cab.
Bada boom.
Yeah, she causes a big bada boom. Her words. And it turns into Bruce, taking her and evading the police in this fantastic, chase scene.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I don't know if it's Jamaican music or Russian music, but it's some weird techno music while they're driving, and it's fantastic. It's like a 5-minute long scene. The special effects in this movie are fucking phenomenal.
And they fly in cars. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like Back to the Future Part 2 times, it's turned up to 11.
Yeah.
It's really cool. When you're watching this on TV, you feel like the danger in this film, like the speeding and, one wrong turn and you either run into a fucking building or another car.
Yeah.
That action sequence is fantastic. I absolutely love it. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that is great.
His banter with the Asian cook.
Yes! It doesn't even need to be in the movie, but like Bruce Willis is talking to an Asian man. All the cars are floating, and he's like, he works for like a Chinese restaurant,
right?
And they're eating. It's my favorite.
So he just floats by his window.
He floats by his window because he's a regular customer, and Bruce Willis is talking about how his life sucks, and Bruce Willis gets this call, and it's funny banter between him and the Asian guy. Bruce Willis he doesn't get a phone call. He gets a letter in the mail, and Bruce doesn't want to talk about it. And the Asian dude says, "It'll be good news. I'll bet you your lunch."
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis is like, "Sure, okay," and he hands it to the Asian guy to read. And the Asian guy reads it. He goes, "You are fired."
Like a big old smile on his face.
And then he just gets so disappointed, and Bruce is like, "Well, at least I won a free lunch." The scene doesn't even need to be in the movie, but it's funny. There's so many random scenes in that. I love when the general comes in his room, and he's got to hide the general from Mila Jovovich, so he throws him in the fucking freezer, and they freeze to death. There's so much fun stuff in this movie. It's not just a good action movie. It's fun.
Victor Cornelius gets saran wrapped.
Yes, Victor Cornelius gets hidden, and he gets put in
a bed.
He gets put in the bed, which gets slid under the. Bruce lives in like a basically a closet.
Yeah.
And when Ian Holm gets thrown in the bed and shoved into the wall for some reason. Because, like, the government's coming.
Right.
And then he lets him out, and Vito Cornelius is, like, saran wrapped, and he has to, cut it open. Breathe. And he sits up and does a... Ian Holm is great. Like, when they find him stowed away in the spaceship, he just falls out of the ceiling covered in wires. I love his scene when he's talking to Gary Oldman. And Gary Oldman shows how much of a fucking dork he is in this movie. It's where... Gary talks about how machines do everything for them. Mm-hmm. They make his drinks, they clean up everything on the floor, blah, blah, blah. And then he takes a drink of his, I don't know if it's water or vodka or whatever. He's got a cherry in it. he's choking on the cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian, just this fucking smug look on his face. He's walking around. He's like, well, where's the machine to pat you on the back and this and that? So he hits him on the back and he spits out the cherry. And Gary Oldman looks at him. He's like, for that I'll save your life. Blah blah blah. It's a funny scene. I like Ian Holmes' little apprentice, as you call him. He's not in it very much, but he's really funny. I don't know the guy's name.
He mainly just has facial expressions.
Yeah.
And
good body language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about The Fifth Element.
It's got some memorable quotes.
Some good quotes. It's some fantastic action. Even though even though Gary Oldman and Chris Tucker are going to take a couple viewings to enjoy their character, I really think you will. Because it's Gary fucking Oldman. The man can play anything. The guy's been Sid Vicious and Dracula and, this guy and Sirius Black from Harry Potter and Commissioner Gordon. So the guy knows what he's doing.
Right.
And then Chris Tucker is just an annoying black guy, but he does grow on you in this movie. And he really is funny with repeated viewings. This was directed by Luc Besson, who also worked with Gary Oldman in The Professional. And I guess he created the alien language with Mila Jovovich, and it was in a language that they could actually understand with each other. So they would talk.
So it was their own thing.
Yeah. So that was kind of a little neat tidbit. But yeah, overall, I highly recommend The Fifth Element.
I do too.
Yeah, so much
enjoyable.
Fun. Great action, fantastic special effects. 90% of the comedy works. And then after a second viewing, 100% of the comedy works once you get used to Chris Tucker. This is crooked. Deal with it. I don't really think of that much bad I could say about this film.
I don't either.
Highly recommend it.
There's one scene at the end where... So at the beginning, I don't want to give too much away, but at the beginning, the one donut man gets crushed, basically.
The golden penguin.
Yes. So... You kind of think at the end of the movie that they would have seen some remains or something of that.
That's true.
But they
Major
don't say
plot hole.
anything about that.
You never hear anything about the penguins again.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also a movie where, Debo from Friday is president. So you have to suspend a little bit of disbelief. Right. There's no way that fucking cross-eyed man would become president.
Right.
But other than that, highly recommend Fifth Element. If you're a fan of Bruce Willis action flicks, if you're a fan of looking at Mila Jovovich, if you're a fan of Gary Oldman, watch The Fifth Element, and then watch it a second time to enjoy Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thumbs up for that. And Rachel seems like she's giving her seal of approval.
Yep, thumbs up.
All right. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell. Whatever. We have plans to bring cartoon commentaries back. We're going to do a few more reviews, some blind reviews, our movie thoughts with me and Rachel. I'm trying to get her to watch the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I haven't seen it in probably 25 years, so that's going to be an interesting review. We've got a couple other ideas, like maybe Spaceballs or The Naked Gun or something like that. But yeah, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Suggest. Comment below. Tell me if you think I'm full of shit and you hate The Fifth Element, and I'll fight you for it. So I will say cheers. And
Leeloo Dallas multi-pass.
Leeloo Dallas multi-pass. And if the cops ever pull you around, just tell them you're a meat popsicle.
Yep.